So that's how she came to it. Okay. Right, thank you very much for that. We'll carry on now. Ordinary meeting. We go official now. Ordinary meeting held on the... When was it? Last week, last month. Last month's ordinary meeting. It's gone out of my mind with congratulating 13th of March. Number one on the agenda for this meeting is grant awards. The first item is the financial assistance grant made by the Council at a meeting on the 30th of January 2019. Please could those groups represented here step forward to collect their grants from me as they are read out by the clerk. After receiving the grants, please could you stand to one side for a moment. Once they have all been handed out, we will actually, I'm not going to say that, he put it down as pose, for a photograph. Okay.
It's Alan Cassidy Fishing on behalf of the Dean Punk Festival. Right. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Christine Wilson on behalf of the Parish Centre of St John's Church. Mr Gary Mobley, President of the Filey Lions Club. Can't keep a good woman down. Mrs. Marion Wright, Chair of Filey and Blue. Mr. Kennington on behalf of the Filey Folk Festival. Just a minute. Okay, right now. I know it's technique. Andrew Chadwick on behalf of Filey Cricket Club.
Just take a minute. Okay, right.
Filey Brig Angling Society.
Filey Brig Angling?
And last but not least, Mrs. Elaine Newbury, Chair of Filey Brig Initiative.
Can we all gather round for a group photo anyway? Because I know a couple of you want to be away from the meeting. All small seats. Come on in, Christine, don't you be creepy to one side. I'll just stand here, alright. Is that alright? I'll bend down a little bit. Alright. One day bend down now. My knees are going, come on. Alright. Right. Thank you very much all for coming. Right. Put it back straight away.
Come on, thank you.
Richard. Oh! Give David that back.
Give David that back. Number 2 on the agenda, apologies. I will now hand over to the clerk to read out a list of apologies.
I have apologies from Borough Councillor Harrington, but I haven't got any apologies from Councillor Roderick. So we'll take that as he's absent.
Yes, do we accept those apologies, councillors? All those in favour, please show. Thank you. Yes. Captain one.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
sorry, but she might want to have to go.
Yes, fine. That's fine.
Next.
I'll bring them. I'll just read through my 3. I'll declarations of interest, and then you'll come up. All right. Declarations of interest. Councillors are reminded to receive any documentation of interest in accordance with the requirements of the Localism Act 2011, and to consider any application for dispensation in relation to disclosable, pecuniary interests or personal interests. Are there any? If you can't think of any just at the moment, please show just before the item that you have any on. Thank you. I will now move that we move to number 5 on the agenda, which is North Yorkshire Police Report. Are you all right there?
Yes, sorry, I'm just monitoring the radio at the minute because they're just asking for something.
Okay.
Anyone got any issues at all with any of the reports? Any concerns, any questions?
The report is on the on your iPad, so if you've read it, if you have any questions on it, please say now. No? No? Are you all right with that one?
Thank you. Yeah, if there is anything later on, obviously, please make a note.
We'll be in touch. We'll be in touch. Okay.
All right, thank
you very much for coming, and you can go and sort them out now.
Thank you.
Okay. Right, we move back to number 4 on the agenda. Public participation time. Members of the public may now speak. Please note that 15 minutes is available for members of the public to speak. At this point, I will say that anybody interested and wants to speak on Queen Street Gardens, could you leave it to number 6 on the agenda, and then we can speak then. Okay. And at that point, I can make it so that you can speak. All right.
Thank you very much.
And the councillors will then have fresh ears for you. Okay. Is there any other members of the public wish to speak on anything on the agenda, please, apart from Queen Street Gardens? No? Okay then. We will now move to Queen Street Gardens, number 6 on the agenda. Queen Street Gardens. Council to consider the views of the residents regarding the proposed disposal of Queen Street Garden. The Council wishes it to be known that they are sympathetic to the views of the public on this matter. Before beginning, may I ask if anyone has anything to comment before I hand over to Councillor Holden Banks to introduce the motion? Councillor Meek.
Right, we all know what's on the agenda tonight. Right, to put it short, Queen Street Gardens. I have a proposed motion to postpone the sale of Queen Street Gardens until the council meeting of January 13, 2020. So all parties concerned may air their options or consider their options.
Can you just listen to what he's saying, please? Because I could hear other people talking at that point.
Do you want me to do it again?
No, it's all right. I heard you. Can I just finish what I was reading out before my hand shot up? I'm now going to hand over to you, Councillor Holden Banks. Okay.
Thank you, being that I am on the agenda to actually propose this
Exactly.
before anybody else. So, good evening, everybody. I'm proposing a motion to rescind the resolution as recorded on the 23rd of January 2019. Minute number 222-18-19, section 2. Quote, "It was unanimously resolved that the council take measures to put the land up for sale. The council looked to sell the land by auction or sealed bid with an endeavour to include a covenant, thank you, to maintain the current view from the cliff walk. The proceeds from the sale, the land would be used for projects for the people of Filey." End quote. The reaction to sell the gardens was met with disbelief and confusion as to why Filey Council made such a decision. A group was quickly formed through social media and word of mouth by local residents, and I have asked these people if I may mention their names, and they're happy for me to do so.
That's fine.
Terry Lee Broadhead and Becky Haxby Rose. They have since formed a community group to work towards saving the gardens. I feel as a council we have a duty of care to the residents of Filey and need to listen to their concerns regarding decisions affecting the community. On this occasion, the correct decision, in my opinion, is to rescind above-mentioned minutes, and I hope my fellow councillors will vote to keep the council gardens in the council portfolio. To give this group and any other interested community parties the time they need to work with the council to share knowledge and negotiate with due diligence the best outcome for the residents, community groups and council without the threat of sale. So I ask for the rescindment of the minute number 222-18-19, section 2. Thank you.
Right, thank you for that. Councillor Meek.
So basically, through you, Chair, what you are saying, the gardens, you're proposing them to be not for sale. Is that correct?
Well, through you, Chair, that is what I'm proposing. My proposal this evening is to rescind the minutes that were made in January the 23rd, that we rescind them now. I'm not suggesting that you don't revisit it at some stage in the future with a new council that come on. I'm working with this group, hopefully we can work together as a team and maybe get an outcome for all of us, but I am most definitely asking for them to be up, not for sale at this moment in time.
So by doing this, you, in the meantime, you cannot sell it to anyone.
That's right, through you, Chair.
You can't sell it to a group, single person or any interested party.
No, not at this moment in time.
So I'll refer now to my proposal. What is the difference?
Through you, Chair, the difference is that if we take the sale off the market now, it gives the groups the opportunity and the time to get the funding that they need if they wish to take the gardens back on with the help of the council and their knowledge to help with the due diligence to get the best outcome for the gardens. I mean, I've got 5 signatures to rescind this. It's not to say this can't be brought back up again in the future. I'm just saying let's give people time to get themselves collectively together.
Right.
And why do we need to sell the gardens?
Right, to reply on that. If you postpone it until the 13th of January, as I've already said, so all parties consider their options. I still don't understand what the difference is.
Through you, Chair, the difference is that that's not what I'm asking on my rescindment at this moment in time. And if this council or the new council, when it gets together after May, can make another decision if they wish to sell again going forward, I'm just asking for this minute to be rescinded for now, and the new council can make decisions going forward further on. I just don't think the threat of sale is needed.
Councillor Wright first.
Sorry, it's a simple difference. The difference is that Councillor Holden Banks' proposal is to rescind the minute.
Yeah.
Yours is specifically talking about the sale of the land.
No.
Or postponing the sale of the land. Well, you're not asking to rescind the minute. We have to rescind the minute first.
It doesn't mention sale of the land, it doesn't mention the previous minute.
But
It
could-
does.
could you-
That's
could
right.
you-
Just a minute, councillors, I'll just bring the clerk
We've got
in
to
to
listen to
see
this
if
first.
Yes, we do,
he's got
Kevin.
information from
If
YLCA.
that's what we're...
In the knowledge that this was likely to happen, I have been in contact with YLCA with reference to the protocol with respect to the motion and potential amendments, etc. What we are allowed to do, or what we're not allowed to do, we are not allowed to amend the motion as proposed by Councillor Holden Banks, as that is a very specific motion that is specifically to say that you are rescinding that particular minute. What is allowed to be done is, after or before, depending upon how the council feels, there can be a motion put forward to in effect clarify the previous resolution. The previous resolution was to look into the sale, and therefore the clarification, as I understand it, what Councillor Meek is proposing, is to clarify it within a time frame to allow all interested parties to come together, to work together, to get a full understanding of what exactly everybody needs to know in terms of going forward. From a point of order as well, it is difficult for myself to do any work on this proposed sale if we're not going to sell it. And rescinding that particular resolution means that we're not going to sell it. But it doesn't say that we are going to sell it either. But it allows us to go forward and get the information that is required by everyone,
Just a minute.
that's required by everyone to make judicious decisions. Yes.
Right, it's Councillor Wright and then Councillor Holden.
Right, to start off, Councillor Holden has got 5 signatures,
That's correct.
which is the law of this,
That's
and
correct.
she's got those.
Councillor Wright.
Councillor Meek hasn't got any signatures.
Don't need
Doesn't
any.
need them, but also this is an amendment,
Exactly.
It's not.
so you can't do proposals, the same thing.
Look,
It's different.
Just a minute, let the clerk explain a bit
just
more.
to clarify
And then
again,
you'll all get
Councillor
realised
Rice.
what's going on. We can't just jump into
the motion that Councillor Holden Banks has put forward, we cannot amend that.
So,
That cannot be amended, that has to stand, and if that is put forward to a vote, then we stand by that vote. But, Councillor Meek, because he is putting a new proposal, and the proposal is with regard to the item that's on the agenda, i.e. Queen Street Gardens, that can happily go forward. And we're not rescinding the minute in terms of anything. All we're doing is clarifying that particular item and giving it additional information to ensure that we're all, we're able to work together.
Okay, does that explain it?
I don't need any explanation. I'm very clear on what I would like. I'm very clear on what the public affair that I've spoken to would like, and that is to rescind it and stop the sale of the land. And I don't suggest that we can't have a communication level going forward, but, I've struggled a long time to get this on the agenda and taken a long time to get signatures, and for Councillor Meek to be able to even speak before I got to speak is really quite odd. I spoke to the clerk at great length about this, and he assured me that this was doable before it even went on here. So this is new information you're giving me now, tonight. You didn't ring me, you haven't let me know any of this information previously. So that's blindsided. So I still stand by what I say, and we vote to rescind these minutes.
Councillor Wilkie. Just a minute, please, and I'm going to bring you in a few minutes' time, okay? I'm going to open it up to the floor in a few minutes' time. Just let the councillor speak first, all right? Councillor Wilkie.
It's clearer now that Clark's explained it, but might I suggest that Councillor Meek or maybe also explained why he was putting that proposal forward in the first place, then it would have saved maybe 10 minutes of backwards and forwards. But I understand the process now, so you're basically saying you can keep that minute as it is, but there's a proposal there leaving it into a time frame
Yes.
to be discussed.
Yes.
So it's the same thing but a different way around. Yeah. But I still think, well, I'm one of the councillors that was at that January meeting, and I voted very reluctantly, as we all did, to agree to look into selling the land. Since then, obviously we were faced with information about the unknown costs, we all know about things like that. But afterwards, I just thought about it for days and weeks afterwards, and came to the conclusion it wasn't maybe the right thing that we ought to have gone forward with. My first feeling is that it should be kept open as a garden, but close to the public, as we try to do, but still the costs are unknown, we know that. But it just became apparent that, you know, it may be that we didn't or haven't looked at all the options, and we've got to the very end of the point where we've got nothing else to consider, whether it's grants or anything else. But I think rescinding the minute is one of the best things we could do, because we've now got a community group that's passionate about it, as we all are, you know, councillors are passionate about the garden. It's not an easy thing to go down that route. But if we rescind the minute, then there's no illusion of what might happen in the future. That minute's rescinded. We can still discuss it, we can still revisit it. We may end up in the same place as we are now. But I think until we've explored every option and every avenue, that's why I've signed one of the signatories to rescind the minute. I just felt that I've made maybe the wrong decision in the first place.
Right, thank you for that, Councillor Wilkie. I just have to take Councillor Hackfish on, and then I'm going to open it up to the floor.
Yeah, in defence of the council, there were only 5 councillors turned up to that special meeting. There were 7 or 8 that didn't turn up, and they made the decision they made on the evidence that was given on the night. And as Kevin said, it was probably the wrong decision. Because since then, speaking to our Becky and lots of other people, it's evident that there is great passion about this in the town, which wasn't evident at that special meeting. And I would go with Councillor Holden Banks and rescind the minute for now. Let's face it, we can revisit it in 6 months.
Yep.
Anyway, which is before council meets January. You know, the minute only lasts 6 months, which gives these good people 6 months to get their act together, to decide what they're going to do, whether they will do it.
Just a point of order that it's actually, it will only be 4 months.
4 months is even
From
less than
From
that.
now.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it gives the council, whoever's on the council after May, the opportunity to revisit it in quite a short period of time. But it gives these good people 4 months, not 6, but again, it's up to the council, you know, to get a committee together and decide your way forward, to come up with a good plan, a business plan, etc., etc. The council is in no rush because the land is fenced off now. You know, the public can't gain access, and it is safe, which is what we were worried about, was that, you know, we'd be facing litigation if somebody had an accident. So it is safe, so there's no rush. So, you know, you go ahead and do what you've got to do it well, and come back with a good plan. That's, yeah.
The only thing that we must keep be mindful of is the fact that we, or the council, are still liable if this is rescinded to in fact stabilise the land. So we do only have a relatively short period into which to make that decision. And if there's nothing going forward in that time in terms of the group or whatever, then we may have no other option but to do some of that stabilisation work. And if we do that stabilisation work, I think everyone must be mindful that the garden will not be in the condition that it's in now once the stabilisation work has been done. It will be a mess.
Right, at this point, I'm going to open it up to the public. At this point, I will open it up to the public and move standing order 3E and adjourn the meeting to allow the public to speak. This is what, I'm sorry, but this is what I've got to do through law. Okay. Who's the first that wants to speak? Yes, dear.
Sally Mills. I just wanted to ask, obviously the councillors have said that they, or some of them have said that they reluctantly made the decision to decide to sell. But I just wondered what real information they had before making that decision, because based on the minutes, we can see that it says it could cost between 50 to 250,000 to stabilise. How do you know that when a survey hasn't been done, nothing has been done since the drainage was put in place? So my question is, if we rescind the vote, can the council not put forth the money it would cost to have a survey so that the council actually knows what the cost will be? Because the clerk is saying it's going to ruin the state of the gardens, but does he actually know that if there hasn't been a survey?
Clark?
Well, there hasn't been a survey, but there has been a visit by a structural engineer, and it happened last year. And the information I've been given is that, and the information that was provided to the council, is that if to do the minimum amount of work at the minimum amount of cost, it would literally be putting up very large concrete lumps in the garden, as you've seen in various places on Southcliffe, etc. And the existing walls would still remain, so the concrete would be just around, and because of the position of the garden, it would be likely that the shrubs, etc., the grass, anything else that was there, will be totally removed.
Right, come back.
But do we know for an absolute fact that it's moving? Because all we know is that there's
Yes,
cracks
yes,
from the drainage, but
yes.
has the survey shown that it's
Yes, it is
moving?
moving.
What proves of how much it will cost? Oh yeah, you got the surveys to say exactly how much it would cost to...
The survey from the structural engineer, when she came, she gave us a ballpark figure, because the ballpark figure is all dependent upon the initial survey.
And what did she do in the initial survey? Did
She
do like a full
viewed it,
ground?
she went out, she measured stuff, she looked at various bits and pieces, she hasn't reviewed the previous surveys that were done on the soil. She came back and said, well, she couldn't really tell you what the soil was like because there has been a substantial amount of drainage work done.
Yeah, so if it was fixed during the...
She also said that the drainage work looks as if it has removed the problem, which was the waterlogging.
Yeah.
But it may not, it has not, she couldn't definitely sell it, probably wouldn't have solved the problem that there is stratification. There is the actual bedrock, or the clay that's there. On top of that sits a load of rubble, effectively, that was put in 1930 to produce the T-ring, and on top of that some topsoil. There is still, she needs to have the evidence as to what, if anything, the drying out of it could have actually made it worse. In terms of the bonding between the layers could be in fact worse. So she doesn't know, and you know, we have just been making this on suppositions. We haven't correctly say that we have not got a definite 100% piece of information that says this is what's needed. But we do have indicative prices as to what it would be if we had to do something.
But I feel because it's obviously is such a big thing to the members of Filey, should it not be a priority for the council to put forward that money to have that definitive answer of exactly what is wrong? Is it moving? If she's not done measurements since those measurements, it might not have moved. The drainage problem has been fixed. That might have fixed any movement. So if we had a survey again, then would that not give a definitive answer to exactly how much it's going to cost? And then the council can make a decision based on all the facts.
Yes.
Yes.
Is there any other member of the public wish to speak, please? Yes, sir, in the doorway.
Is it just the gardens that are moving then, not the residential property around it?
The actual gardens are moving. You know, can I finish, please? Can I just finish, please? The footpaths that go across they've got massive cracks in them now, right? Whereas 2 years ago, 3 years ago, they didn't have. That's how we know that they're moving. Not only that, Scarborough Borough Council, they came in to it with us 4 or 5 years ago, and their engineer actually came and looked at it as well. And he said to us that if we don't get something done, it will slip.
The question was, is it just gardens and not a residential property around there?
No, we're concerned about the gardens.
Why are you not concerned about people's houses then?
Of course we are, because there's cracks in the wall. I've seen them myself. But apparently, by what I can make out through other people, that the cracks in the walls were there, have been there for a long time. So our problem is the gardens, to try and stop them. If you go down there and look along the footpath where the benches are, you'll see in the footpath little marks like that along. Now they're piles that have been put in, years ago. I don't know how many years ago, a long time ago. And they'd actually stopped that part of it going. Okay? But that, they're close piled. They are. And you can see actually the piles in the footpath where they are.
You assure me then that all the property around the garden is fine?
They don't know. They don't know because they need a definitive survey.
One at a time, please.
Sorry,
Yes,
I just
please.
Can I just ask Councillor Cockrell whether you've asked Scarborough Borough Council for funding for the actual gardens?
Right, as I said, first of all, I must make it clear that as we are in the run-up to the election, I'm restricted as to what I can do or say when making use of council resources. And this period ran from mid-March to the election, and it's known as further. As I've been asked a question, it is permissible for me to answer that question without contravening further. Yes, I have raised the funding issue as well as some other related aspects of the Borough Council and also with some other agencies. There are some amounts of what's known as Section 106 funds that are reserved for open spaces in Finley, which could possibly be spent there. Also, I've spoken to regeneration officers at the Borough Council and they've provided me with information about 2 new potential funding streams, but the criteria for these refers mainly to town centres and architectural aspects, so I have doubts about that. We're all aware of the allocation of significant funding by the Heritage Lottery Fund to the Southgate Gardens at Scarborough, and that the Borough Council has made a significant contribution to the work on the land owned by the Borough Council. The Queen Street Garden is, I would suggest, a similar but far smaller area to the Southgate Gardens. Smaller, yes, but as we've all heard and know, just as important to our town. And I would suggest that the HLF could be the first step to inquire about eligibility. The Town Council could decide to take this forward. If it is found to be a possibility, there will be nothing to stop the funding report and application prepared and submitted by the Borough Council to the HLF being used as a basis to apply to the HLF for funding towards the renovation of Queen Street Garden.
Right, thank you for that, Councillor Cockrell. Yes, just let the public finish, then we'll come back, we'll close it and then we'll come back into councillors. Okay. Yes.
So I just wanted to clarify then, so Jackie's motion was to have the minute removed, so as if that vote had never happened.
Not yet.
And Councillor Leeds was just to retain that minute, but just postpone the decision on a sale based on what a group can get together. I think the feeling amongst us as a group, and I think some of the other people that aren't particularly in the group, is that we actually want the Town Council to retain the gardens as a Town Council asset. Okay, it's not worth much money, but that's what we want. It was effectively, in 1987, it was purchased for £750 by the Town Council, and it was effectively gifted by the person, wasn't it, that owned it, for the people of the town to enjoy. And it's a massively emotive issue. I've spoken to many different people that said that they've got the family's ashes on it. So I think Jackie's motion to rescind the vote, to take out the sale completely, is what the general consensus amongst the people here.
Well, this is what I'm trying to find out. Right, you know, So if I can get 2 or 3 more of you to speak
Can we
on
maybe
this,
just get a
we
show
can
of hands?
actually
Sorry, to walk interrupt.
say this. Okay.
Yeah, show of hands.
Okay, whoa! Oh, hey! I knew this showed up now.
Just a show of hands, if everybody, sorry to be bossy, but if everybody just puts their hand up and wants the town council to take ownership of it and do something about it, that's
That's a good idea, actually.
with the backing of the community.
Because,
That's what we want. That's pretty
I
overwhelming.
think it's everybody.
Nearly. And the 7,000 people shared the discussion on Facebook that Becky and Terry set up, so it is a very massive issue.
yes, but how do you know all the 7,000 people that's on Facebook are actually living Friday? That's the point. You don't.
Well, it's entirely, it's
So, I mean, it's fine that we're talking about
For
it.
everyone, a town full of tourists.
So, you know, I mean, Facebook is a wide thing.
Yeah, it's the 21st century.
No way we see gardens, we mustn't be here.
Exactly. But it's finding people that we have to take notice of.
And we're all, we
Yeah.
want to keep it.
Just a minute, Councillor. Is there any other people wish to speak at this point? You sat down.
Good evening, everybody. I'd just like everybody to know in this room I was the only member of the public that came and sat in on the meeting that made the decision to sell Queen's Street Gardens. When I read the agenda a couple of days before on the website, I thought it would be quite interesting just to come and sit in to see how it would be handled. And after reading David's agenda notes, there was a piece in there that made a reference to putting out the decision. One of the options was to put it out to the public to find out what they thought about it. I cannot recollect the councillors discussing that in that meeting. Now, it was recorded, correct me if I'm wrong, it was recorded, so if it was discussed it will be on the recording, but I can't recall you discussing that particular point.
Right.
Another point I would also like to make is that in the engineer's report, the engineer's service report of 2016, item 4.7 states a monitoring proposal, which would mean the Scarborough engineers would come in and put studs into the ground at each side of the cracks, and it would be measured and monitored over a period of time. The one set-up cost for that would have been at that time £120, and an £80 fee for every time to come and measure and monitor. Now, we are now 3 years on from that date. You could have got the engineers to come in 4 times a year, which would have been £320 a year over the 3-year period, which would have come to £1,080 plus VAT. So if the council, and at that stage, as a council, you did not implement that option. So if the council had implemented this monitoring process in 2016, it would now have results from a 3-year monitoring period. These results could have been used to make an informed decision on the future of Queen Street Gardens. My question is, why did the council not decide to implement this option, as it seems a very logical thing to do? With hindsight, do you think the monitoring process would have been a prudent option to follow, that a technical report would now be available to make an evidence-based decision about Queen Street Gardens?
Right. 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Right. Kevin.
Yes, are we? Has everybody?
No, not yet, I haven't closed that yet.
Right, well, I'll let you go then.
Okay. Okay, I thought he had something on this, that's all. Because it's a long way back. I've got
I've
no
got
paperwork
four
on it.
questions back.
Pardon?
I've got 4 questions back from...
All right,
Oh, yeah,
okay.
please,
Okay.
I can do with this.
At this moment, I couldn't tell you, but our clerk will find out and let you know. Okay, I think that's the best way to go about it. And he'll look back and make sure that if we did it.
Excuse me,
Clerk,
if you'd have done it, there would have been a report for it.
there would.
Yeah.
But there isn't.
That's what I'm trying to find out.
Yeah, I can confirm that I did contact in previous meetings when the idea of the monitoring did come up. I did go back to Scarborough Council and Mike Cockrell, Councillor Cockrell did in fact investigate that on our behalf to say, but there was nothing put in place at that moment in time to do any of the monitoring work done.
Yes.
Oh, this is about this monitoring.
My
Right,
recollection of
okay.
it, I thought that the monitoring was part of the contract that we have with Scarborough.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
Can we
done monitoring.
dig this contract out and contract work out and have a look and right, thank you very much for that. Thank you, he's going to have a look at it and try and find out for you. Okay, is there any other people who wish to speak at this moment? I'm looking, yes.
We just wanted to finish off in our group by just saying if the vote is carried to rescind, would the council then definitely consider doing this kind of monitoring and surveying like we've said, so that we actually have all the facts? That's just a yes or no, whether they would consider that.
And will the questions be answered in the next meeting?
No. Yes, it should be answered in the next meeting. It's a month ago, it's a month. No, it wasn't about a property committee by then, no. No, we have to have a property committee to go into that and then fetch it to full council, you see. It isn't a straightforward council as so-and-so. We have to go through the committees, like, you know. And unfortunately, I'm not chair of property, so, you know, but I'm sure the chair of property
If it is rescinded, then it seems logical that the council would decide to actually do something about it before making a decision.
Can ask for it to be placed on the
Yeah, I think it is,
Yeah.
for discussion in terms of consideration of any work that we decide to do with respect to getting the information.
Any councillor here can ask for this to be put on to a previous meeting, right? And be discussed on that as soon as we get any info on it.
So hopefully if the vote is to rescind, one of these lovely councillors will then propose that it goes on the next agenda.
And the good councillor.
I mean, if you put up for election, I wish you the best of luck. But, you know, I know there's one there that has. I met you this morning. So, you know, so anybody outside could have put up. It is now closed. It's that part of it now. So the names have gone up on the board. They're being publicised. So nobody else can actually go on. People that actually put up can actually withdraw if they want to do it.
Not now, very calm.
Why are we
Who wants to be? Queen Street Gardens we're talking about.
You can withdraw right up to the election.
Back onto this.
Anyway, let's go on here. Can we have a vote for the people? Wait a minute, before I do that, I want to have a vote round for the public, right, to see what they want us to do. Would like us to do. Okay. So all those in favour, please.
Of rescinding the minutes.
In favour of rescinding the minutes.
Not you.
Not you. Not you. Have you counted? Right, thank you very to answer. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for doing that. Now, is there any other? Yes.
Can I just make one more point, my final point as well, Richard, which is something we talked about at the meeting with Queen Street, about Queen Street Gardens. And again, this was part of the documents that David put up for the councillors to view before the meeting.
Yes.
And we talked about it in depth, and it was about the deed of covenant that's on the land.
Yes.
It actually states that no building should be put on that land. So what you've got to consider is that if you want to sell that land, it probably has to be a person who has got a very bad solicitor who hasn't read all the documents, because if that was challenged at court, it would stand.
Exactly.
So a new buyer would probably not be able to build on that land because of that covenant.
I've looked into that covenant, John, obviously, and in fact, because it's a document, it's a legal document between two parties, the only party who could challenge that is the party who sold it to us.
Right.
Yeah.
So it is not an overall document for anybody to challenge. It is only a document, it's a civil document between two parties, between the vendor and the seller, or the vendor and the purchaser. That is the legality of that. If those two persons, they wish to challenge it, yes, they've got every right to challenge it, but they would be, in fact, unfortunately, the only party who could challenge that covenant.
Okay.
I'll keep that of mine. I'll ask my brother-in-law because he's special.
Right. Okay then. Okay. Right. There's no more questions from the public, is there? No. Therefore, I will now end the adjournment, and only members of the council may speak. And the first one on the list is Councillor Wilkie.
All right.
Then Councillor Wright. You were trying to show interest.
Yeah, sorry, so can I just revert back 20 minutes
Yes, you can.
to Sally's first question about reluctantly voting with little information you could say. That's precisely why I came afterwards to the decision I did, and that's why I find myself now wanting to rescind the minute, exactly for those points. Secondly, if we do rescind the minute, then there's been some comments about, some time so that the group can come back with proposals. I don't think that's right. I think Firely, Town Council, Scarborough Borough Council and the group should work together.
Yeah, that's what we want,
We shouldn't be asking a group to come back with a proposal. So that is one thing that I wanted to say. Now, we may rescind the minute, but I think it's going to have to be an ongoing discussion, and as I said before, we may end up in the same position we are now. So I don't think it'll go away totally, but we'll just have to keep revisiting it, rightly so through the property committee. So that sounds. The third thing I just wanted to make a comment on. It's nice to see that Councillor Cockrell is now looking at options for funding and stuff like that. But Councillor Cockrell's known about this problem, as far as I know, all the time it's been there. So why hasn't it been proactive in finding lottery funding up to this point? Why just now?
Is that it, Kevin?
Well, that's a question to Councillor Cockrell.
Councillor Cockrell, if you would like to answer that.
Well, I think I answered that previously by saying it is Firely Town Council land. The Borough Council has got no input to it.
But you are a ward councillor, you're now saying you've asked about...
But it was only in July you decided to dispose of it.
But you've known about the gardens and the issues for 5, 6 years.
And if you remember, it was myself who arranged for the Borough engineers to get involved regarding the drainage.
I don't dispute that, that's not my question. My question is why now?
So if that wasn't getting involved, what was?
Why now are you just looking at funding proactively when it's been asked? Why didn't it happen 5 years ago?
That is because it's not the responsibility of the Borough Council.
Was it now?
It isn't.
Well, you've looked into funding after someone's been asked.
Yeah, because I've done something, and also...
I'm asking why is it being proactive when you've known about the issue?
Riding on the back of the HLF, because to me, that funding from the HLF is the potential way forward with more chance of getting external funding.
So, through you, Chair.
And that's only just run through.
Let me finish.
Through you then, Chair. So, the 1.2 million that the borough has put towards the Southwood Gardens to do with the funding, if I remember rightly, I saw a comment that means that some more deserving schemes will have to miss out. So why wasn't some of that put our way? Why is it now when there's a group and all this discussion that we're looking at an option of heritage lottery funding? Why didn't that come to the Five Town Council as a suggestion 5 years ago, 3 years ago? That's my question.
Why did the Town Council think about it itself?
No, sorry, Councillor Cockle. You're a ward councillor,
Right.
representing Farley on Scarborough Council as member of the Cabinet. You could have quite easily gone to there and said, look, what's the chance of getting some funding for these gardens? You didn't have to wait for us. It's not our problem, necessarily.
If it isn't your problem, whose is it?
But what I'm saying is to do something about it. You're representing Farley. All I'm asking is why wasn't there anything proactive before now? That's the question I'm asking.
Right, thank you for that, Councillor. Okay, Councillor Wright.
Declan Manley lives in Queen Street, and unfortunately he can't come tonight. So he asked me to put forward that he's lived here not as a resident, but a holidaymaker, all the time, and he knows when it was sold and what and everything else. And he says, under those paths, there is no foundations at all. And he said he would have expected that the paths would have cracked anyway, regardless of movement of land, if there's no foundations. So he said he doesn't think that it's maybe quite as bad as what we think it is, but it does need monitoring to be able to tell you whether it is or not. So he's just asked me to put that forward.
Right, thank you for that, Councillor Wright. Marion? Marilyn? No, listen to me, I've got Jackie Bowman.
My mind is just back to what I said to begin with, and on reflection of what Councillor Wilkie said, which I said to start this whole conversation was to give this group and any other interested community parties the time to work with the council to share knowledge and due diligence. That's what I said right at the very beginning, and that's what we need to do. We need to be, an open, transparent council to help our residents. We're here to serve them, and that's what we should do. And on this occasion, they've spoken very loudly what they would like, and I think as a council we should listen and deliver.
Right, thank you, Councillor Holden Banks, for that. Councillor Shackleton, you have your hand up?
I had my hand up, wouldn't be an hour ago.
Well, that's fine, that was when the public was speaking.
But everything's been said, basically, and I think we should move on now, Chair. I'm in agreement to receive this minute. Unfortunately, it's been a problem that's been going on for many years. Kevin's stated 4 or 5 years, but it's been going on a lot longer. Possibly when Councillor Cockrell was on the council at the time, it was going on, and nothing was done then. Just another comment about what Councillor Wilkie was on about. This is the first we've heard from Councillor Cockrell about looking for funding. It's not been mentioned at council meetings before, and it's suddenly, just come up tonight. But to move things forward, I think we should have a vote now. I think everybody's had to say.
Well,
let's move on.
Just let Councillor Anthony say what she has to say. She had her hand up.
I did. I just wanted to say that I'm chair of the property committee, and it's been a very difficult sort of 12 months with the gardens and everything. And one of the main things I want to say is that the people, the new councillors that are elected, or perhaps some of the older councillors that are elected, get yourself on property committee. Turn up and actually, you know, discuss these things, make decisions on these things, because it's not been a good year for making decisions. We've not had the people that have wanted to be involved and to make these decisions. And it's been absolutely, I mean, the last meeting we had, I mean, Jeff had to leave, but we ended up in quorum. We couldn't discuss Queen Street Gardens. So, you know, anybody who's standing and you get on the council, get yourself on property. You'll have a whale of a time.
Okay then, Councillor Walker, I'm up to you now to put your motion forward.
Turn it all off. Yeah, well, I would just like to, well, I haven't got the number of all the minutes because I need to say it all correctly, don't I? Otherwise you'll...
Yeah, double two stroke.
Oh, there we go. Yes, so I would like to rescind minute number 222/18/19 section 2. To rescind those minutes, please, on the 23rd of January 2019.
Have you got a seconder for that?
I'll second that proposal.
Right, thank you. Are we all in favour of that? All councillors in favour, those that aren't, please show. Right, that minute is, that's been moved and that will be rescinded, i.e. as from... No. I'd just like to thank all the public for coming along tonight as well, because if you aren't here, right, we don't get the feedback that we need. Okay, and it has meant a lot to us tonight to listen to you all and take it on board. That's why I moved it from public question time to the actual news itself.
Can we say if Councillor Meek now withdrawing, he's going to act?
Yes, you have to, well, it falls anyway. Does that because
No,
it's been
it
passed?
doesn't, because you said it was a separate proposal. It doesn't fall because it's not on the same minute thing. So all you have to do is say yes.
Councillor, yes, it does fall because it is a clarification of the previous minute, of the previous resolution, which following the vote that we've just had has been rescinded and therefore doesn't exist, and therefore the clarification is irrelevant.
That's why I brought it up right at the beginning. Nobody trying to get it altered after it was being passed. And I didn't get the option. It went straight into the minute.
Right, thank you very much for that, Councillor Meek. Thank you all for councillors for voting. Right, we will now move on to number 7 on the agenda, which is Borough and County Council's reports. Scarborough County Council's report. Don't forget to sign out when you go out, please, or else I won't know who's left and who hasn't left. Okay. So that's Councillor Cockburn. Have you got a report?
If you refer it, I'll answer any questions.
Right. Councillor Cockburn is quite willing to answer any questions. You want to bring? Yeah, go on now. Kevin.
Sure,
Okay. So you know what it's about sat here.
Yeah.
Don't you? Yes. And when people councillors are actually speaking, you have to keep quiet. Yes, which you learn, let them speak, and then you put your hand up, the chair will pick you up, and then you can answer. That's how it works.
Fill the chair. You haven't suspended standing orders.
I have, actually, if you'd have listened.
When?
I did. Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Yeah.
So, you're okay. And if you're going to stop, can you please be quiet so we can hear the other councillors speaking? That's why there's only one at a time. Okay. Right. Councillor, is there any questions for Councillor Cockrell? We're all in favour, so we can ask questions, but only those that's relative to the agenda. Okay, to Councillor Cockrell. Isn't there any? Councillor Shackleton.
Regarding funding for the Cobble replica, Councillor Cockrell, is there any further developments on that?
No.
Don't believe. And are you still actively looking?
Yeah.
Right.
But if I could just say, unfortunately, when people know that the money in theory is there, you know, it's like turkeys roasted for Christmas, isn't it? So as much as I do try, I'm not getting anywhere.
Right, thank you for that.
And another one that had a conditional promise of £5,000, that's fallen by the wayside. Because I did mention there was a potential one at the town council meeting.
You did.
But that was fallen by the wayside. But that was nothing to do with having sufficient money. That was a totally separate issue.
Okay, Councillor Overman.
It was just to clarify that the money that this council has pledged is up to 19,000 only if it meets the criteria of what this council's happy with.
Yeah.
And then you'll bring in the designs, and if we're all happy, otherwise the money will...
Well, they've seen
Things won't go on.
yeah.
Nothing else will be going further unless we see it happen.
Okay, no more questions for Councillor Cockrell? Councillor Cross, do you want to say anything? I was looking for you then.
Nothing as far as, further within further.
Exactly, that's what. Okay, right, thank you for that, Councillor Cross. We'll go on now to North Yorkshire Borough Councillor's report. Councillor Swires. And she can say.
There's proposals to ensure that the highway service is fit for the future to be considered by the executive on the 16th of April next week. North Yorkshire has 5,750 miles of road stretching from Filey to Bentham and Teesside to the south of the M62. So laid end to end, that you would reach India apparently. With the current contracts nearing completion, the council is looking to transform the way it delivers highway services to ensure that it can face the challenges that lie ahead, while ensuring that the current service levels are maintained. Currently, highway services are delivered by contract, with its maintenance contractor is Ringway, and the professional services consultant is WSP, which will be coming to an end 2021 and 2020 respectively. An assessment of future service challenges has concluded that the preferred option is a TECL company for the delivery of operational highway maintenance, along with the appointment of a single consultant for the provision of professional services, any professional service requirements. Together, these contracts currently are worth in the region of £50 million per year. The TECL company would be wholly owned by the council, which would ensure a local focus, but it would need to be operated commercially, because the idea is to try and save some money, but to maintain a good service. And it would also have the potential in the future, it wouldn't be straight away, to generate some income, perhaps by commissioning some works, but that would be in the future. It's felt that it's a model which would allow greater control and flexibility. Now, if the executive, this is only if at this moment in time, the executive members agree to the new TECL model, Any eligible staff currently employed by Ringway would be subject to a transfer of undertakings regulations known as the 2T. As indeed, if WSP didn't get their contract renewed, the same would be for their employees. So, in a nutshell, I hope I've made that reasonably clear. As I say, that's going to the executive next Tuesday, the 16th.
So just say, Mr. Chairman, it's disappointing that county used to do all the roads themselves.
Yes.
And all their employees were trooping over to Ringway.
Yes.
And now you're trooping them back to county.
Well,
now, how much is this costing for one?
Well, I can't answer that question. I'll have to go and get the information.
You know, it's disgusting you don't get it right in the first place. Because Ringways never did do a decent job. We had a council that sat on here who had relatives with Ringway. And they never did a good job.
At the time, it was thought that using Ringway would be, or a contractor, I won't just say Ringway, a contractor, was a model that would be the way forward. But obviously, thinking has reversed. So anyway, we'll see what happens on Tuesday, but that seems to be the favoured option as far as I can work out, which is why I'm just flagging it up, because it's such an important service for us all.
Yeah, but any change has to be cost effective, hasn't it?
Exactly.
For the benefit.
Exactly.
As well, isn't it?
Yes.
Just a minute, Councillor Squires, Councillor Wilson wants to come in.
Would you be standing when North Yorkshire Ambulance Home? Because I understand a petrol company can be more than one local authority.
Possibly. As far as I understand it, though, it would be North Yorkshire on its own.
Thank you.
And will this be put on the website, North Yorkshire's website, for authorities like us to look at the answer to that?
Well, once it's been to the executive.
Well, that's what I mean, once it's been to the exec.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Okay. Right.
I would just like to thank all the councillors that came for the walk around with Andrew Stanton on Thursday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I felt that was a very useful exercise, and I hope you did too. Nominations are now open for the North Yorkshire County Council's Community Awards, which honours volunteers who make a difference to their communities. It's now in its 5th year, and it's looking for it's really a thank you to local people and organisations who selflessly dedicate their time. And this obviously helps the county council to deliver critical services. There are 4 award categories. One is the Best Community Group, awards to groups carrying out ongoing volunteer activities in North Yorkshire. A Best Community Project, which is awarded for a specific time-limited voluntary project, which carried out between the 31st of July 2018 and the 1st of June 2019. The start and finish dates don't have to be within that time, but it has to be carrying on during that specified time. And then there's a Volunteer of the Year, which is obviously for an individual, and there's a Young People's Volunteer Award, which is for anyone 25 and under. So if you know of anything, because I mean last year Farley was very well represented, and it would be nice to see some project or some group being acknowledged in this way.
Is everything on the website, Alan?
Yes, it will be. It will be northyorkshire.gov.uk/community awards. So, do please, if anybody knows of anything that's going on, put people forward, because as I say, last year Farley did very well, and it would be nice to see a thank you to these people that do so much. The winners of each category get £1,000, and then there's 2 runners-up in each category that get £250. So, you know, it's worth having. And I'll just give a mention to, there's a consultation out from Julia Mulligan, who's the Police, Fire and Criminal Commissioner now. It's on draft priorities for North Yorkshire for the fire and rescue for 2019-2020. And she wants to hear from all community members just what their priorities are and what they would like to see in this document. And again, I mean, it's good to get feedback into that. And this is the first year that she's been in charge of the fire and rescue. So, you know, there may be something that you would like to contribute. Yeah. Well, yes. Yes. So I'm just flagging that up. You know, something that you might be interested in. Does anybody have any questions for me?
Councillor Wright.
First of all, if there is any potholes in any of the roads in Filey,
You'll find potholes.
yeah, well, with this new pen and this new, will it all be on the thing, you know, like you report lights that are out, do you report potholes then?
Well, it's too early for me to say, but yes, everything will be just in the same way as it is now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just a different way of delivering the service, and it won't be happening until April, let me get the right year, 2020 or 2021. 2021, yes.
So go on to the website and do
yes. But it's an important decision.
Yeah.
So that's why I just thought that you would like to know about it.
Second question is, well, it isn't really, it's a comment, to say thank you very much to North Yorkshire County Council. Helen did come to this council and ask if we knew of any projects that could be £5,000, and this council had no ideas whatsoever to do anything with it. So I put forward to her that we could repair the wishing well in Crescent Gardens to Filey in Bloom, because it's on the lean and it's not dangerous. We've had it tested, it isn't dangerous. But now the money has been awarded, the Secretary has just got to sign it off, and then we'll get a date for when it starts. And it'll be, it's going to have a different roof on it, because we feel that some of the roof that's on, well, the roof that is on is pan tiles and they're too heavy, so it's going to have like wood shed thing. And it costs that amount of money because the wood down the side which is gone it is very expensive. So thank you very much to North Yorkshire County Council for repairing the wishing well that actually belongs to Scarborough Borough Council, which Filey Bloom uses for their thing. So it's a very intricated thing that you've done. Well, thank you very much indeed.
I know that visitors like to see the wishing well, and I would think that residents do too.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see a proper job being done.
Be done this summer. Be done as soon as possible.
Yes. I do have the environmental budget again this next year for £5,000. So please. If you have any ideas.
Yeah.
And I've also got the locality budget as usual, but I think I've got about half of it promised already.
Councillor Meek.
Through you, Chair, I'd like to ask Alan if she would pass, say thank you to Andrew Stanton for his report which was sent out today, but he's missed something off it. The roundabout, again, the Brig Shopping Centre, I pointed out to him that when the tour of Yorkshire came through, North Yorkshire came round and tarmacked over the safety valve on the roundabout.
Sorry, tarmacked over what?
Over the SV valve on the roundabout, which is now, the tarmac has started lifting. It should never have been covered up in the first place, it should have been repaired. So if you can just mention to it, he's missed that one off his report, please.
Yeah. Right, I'll do that.
Okay, thanks for that, Councillor Meek. Councillor Anthony.
Just to say, can we get our heads together and get a funding application in to county for this money that's going, because we just flip-flop, we never get anywhere. You know, we talked about the having the signs done, cleaned and repainted.
I believe David's going to put it on an agenda item.
Right.
I'm trying to remember the date when it starts again. I think it was the 18th of May or something like that. Yes, and I am pushing that sign. I know I keep looking at it. Yeah, good.
It's put on the property committee. The first property committee of the new council.
Oh, well, I won't be there.
You of course can attend, Councillor Anthony, if you so wish.
No.
No, I am just anxious that it's a lot of money. It's £5,000, but it's surprising how little it actually does. But it wants spending well.
Oh, yeah. Councillor Wright.
I've just had a thought. We've been complaining for a while about the finger posts that are around town. They're all pointing to the information centre.
Yes, it had a mention when we had our walkabout.
Yes, now Roger has been round to them and had a look to see if he could take them to pieces so that he could repaint them, and they're all rusted up. He said it's a big job. But they do want replacing.
They do.
Right.
That was mentioned as well on what?
Was it? Yeah. So that's a good one, the 5,000.
Yes, I think it would be through the property committee, would it? But it probably could do with some local people to go around and really pinpoint things. And we'll see how much we can get done.
Yeah. Okay, is there any questions for North Yorkshire Councillor Squires? Councillor...
If I may, ask Councillor Cockrell, if possible.
This is Councillor Squires, not
Councillor
Cockrell.
Possible. Go back.
Unfortunately, you had your chance to ask him questions before. And don't forget, we're all in Purder, so...
I know we're in Purder.
Yeah.
It is a question,
just remind you.
which is information for the public, which I've just thought about.
Are you willing to take that, Councillor Cockrell?
So you, then, Chair. Off-street parking for the Borough residents. Have you any idea when it will be coming in, please?
Now. It's in now.
For Borough, it's not for us, not for private.
It's for the Borough residents.
Any resident in the borough can apply for a discount permit. I think it's 20% for use in any borough council off-street car park.
It's online.
You can do it online.
I'm just asking because I went in to the town hall this beginning of this week, and I was told I've applied for it. I was told I would get an email when it was going to come in and instructions how to use the machines, and there's been no email sent out as such. And I just wondered how many residents knew about the off-street parking. You get a reduction.
Okay, does anybody else wish to ask Councillor Squires anything? That's what we're asking.
I just wanted to say thank you to Councillor Squires for coming out for the walkabout.
Yeah, this was good.
I was quite cheered by being there. This was very good. It's nice to know that.
She had a good list, didn't she? Yeah. Councillor Wilkie.
Yes, just on the walkabout, I couldn't attend unfortunately, but they were very good for us in the past, weren't they? Maybe towards the end they weren't as well attended, but I just wondered if they would continue as that been discussed.
Yeah, just to say that actually there is a number of the pothole issues that were brought up have in fact already been done. One on the end of Rutland Street and the one halfway down Bellevue that was causing problems from the drop paving. That has been done. So there has been a number of things done, and when I spoke to Andrew Santon this morning, he was going to his colleagues to progress the others that were maybe a little bit more difficult, but we have set up to do these at least twice a year.
Okay.
Could I just say that, as far as I'm aware, this is the only council that has a walkabout, certainly Whitby and Scarborough don't. So you are very privileged.
Well, we asked for it, you see.
Absolutely.
Don't ask, you don't get it.
Councillor Shackleton.
Yeah, I'd just like to remind members we used to have 3 or 4
Yeah, we did.
for both county and the borough.
Yeah, we did.
And I would just like to ask the clerk if any borough officers were invited along.
There were, unfortunately, they couldn't attend.
That's something we need to look into in the future. And perhaps give them dates and choice of dates then when they can attend.
Yeah. Yeah. Any more questions for Councillor Swales, please? No? Thank you very much, Councillor Swales, for coming along tonight. I know you've had a long trip here. Okay, we'll move on now to number 8 on the agenda. Town Clerk and RFO report. Councillors have received a report from the Town Clerk and RFO. I'll now hand over to the Clerk.
You've also hopefully had a chance to see the report. Are there any questions that I can have?
Councillor Anthony.
The dog warden, David, I was led to believe that they'd already been appointed, but then Harry was saying...
Harry came back on yesterday to say that the interviews have been delayed and they're actually happening yesterday.
Oh, so there isn't anybody appointed?
There isn't anybody appointed yet.
Misinformed, right.
Yeah, I was misinformed as well. He said it would be appointed by now, but he said there was a delay to the interview process. But it would be, as soon as that interview process was completed and the person had started, he would bring them to a meeting that we just discussed, so the people at Barley could in fact understand what he was going to be doing, who he was, so what he looked like, and what they would like him to be doing.
I just want to say, I don't know if the rest of the councillors are aware, there's been an enormous interest in town on social media about getting a new dog warden, and people wanting to meet him, wanting to work with him, wanting to know, or her, or wanting to know how to report things, so I'm quite heartened by that, so fingers crossed.
The other thing is that Harry did produce a website, an email address, and that is will be on the newsletter that goes out to every house, and that with that email address it is specifically for dog warden issues.
Councillor Wilkie.
Just on the dog warden, I think it was mentioned when we were discussing it before. I just hope that the success is not measured by how many tickets or prosecution or whatever it is, fines that he's given out, because that's not necessarily a fair reflection of what's going on. So it'd be difficult to manage, I'm sure, but we just need to engage with him, don't we?
Through you, Chair, just to say, I think the only measure will be if there's a reduction in time and people
and we'll see that.
See it, to measure it that way.
But what I'm saying is for future things, if it's a success. You say it's not a success because he's only given out 2 pounds or 2, that's not what it's about.
Thank you for that, Councillor Wilkie. Is there any more questions on the clerk's report? No? Thank you very much for that, Clerk. We'll go on to number 9 now on the agenda. Minutes of the ordinary meeting held on Wednesday the 13th of March 2019. You have all had a chance to read the minutes. Please could I have a proposer and a seconder to approve them? We've got a proposer, Councillor Anthony, a seconder, Councillor Meeks. All those in favour, please. Carried. Okay, we'll go on to number 10 now on the agenda. Council committee minutes and reports from local councils organisations. I hope you had a chance to read the minutes. Before we note these minutes, could I ask the chairs of each committees if they have anything they wish to comment on in these minutes? Does any chairs of those committees wish to comment on any of the minutes that they provided? Councillor Wright. Councillor Hall.
Events and lighting. That we did decide to get some bunting.
Yes.
Has it been ordered?
It hasn't. I'm awaiting the quote from Scarborough Council to install it.
Right.
Once I've got that and it's within our budget, then I'll order the bunting. It will be delivered within 2 days.
Oh, great. So that's something. We have also considered putting in a bid to Tesco's for Christmas lighting as well, haven't we? And I'm told that we need to be getting on with that because there's lots and lots and lots of money at Tesco's. Don't tell anybody. Yeah, so, you know, our Christmas lighting and things. And for anybody who doesn't know, there are ins and outs of Christmas lighting, when you can, when you can't, and it is very, very expensive. But I've enjoyed being on that committee.
Right. Councillor Anthony?
Just to say on the visit, the early visit to the museum, it's just lovely to see how organised, well, it wasn't looking organised because we had everything out to clean, but you know how methodical they go through it and make sure that it's all right for the season and everything. And I think I would like to commend the volunteers at the museum who do a fantastic job, and there's getting less and less of them. And it would be nice if more people could volunteer because they just do a fantastic job for family.
Quite agree with you on that one. Okay, Finance Committee, does anybody wish to comment on Finance Committee?
I chaired that meeting, Mr. Chair. The chair was sunning himself in some foreign climes. There were no decisions for full council to make. You've got the minutes there. If anybody wishes to answer any questions, I'm quite happy to do so.
This is your chance to ask Councillor Ashby any questions
So
on
the
those
two
minutes.
main items was the Ravine Group skate park. We're still awaiting an AGM report before we can go further with that. And the sports facility, which we were looking at up at Top School, we're awaiting a report from Ebor Academy again before we can go any further with that one. But I wouldn't hold out much hope on that one. Highly likely that will fall, I'm afraid. Town Guide, that's going ahead this year again, which was very successful last time, Kevin.
Very good, yeah.
We've had bad debts of £240 which have been written off. And again, thanks to all the staff for the help with this year's budget. It's quite a task to do a £200,000 budget, and it's through the hard work of the staff that we can get through, and of course the chair of finance.
I just further report on that for the finance, the actual budget. We will be quite close to a balanced budget, in fact, for this year or for last year, as a number of the bills came into it.
Which is quite good news.
Yes, which is good news.
And for Marion was the resolution for the bulletin in there.
Thank you very much, great.
Any questions? Take any? Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I can give some information.
You can? Yeah, Councillor Cockle can give some information on that.
As regards Ebor, the relevant director at the Borough Council is in contact with Ebor, asking for clarification about their formal view as to the viability of the fitness suite. Following the recent email from their chair, the Borough are asking if they will be pursuing Sport England funding for the project or calling it a day.
Thank you.
Skateboard, I've arranged that a letter be sent to Councillor Meath, probably next week, This will confirm the in-principle allocation of the site to the south of the Mugger. It will also list various processes and information that are required to achieve formal permission for the construction of the facility. I've discussed various aspects with the director, who agrees that a long-term lease would be possible. This information in regards to maintenance and insurance responsibilities would be required, and I've also suggested that officers should meet with the school board representatives to agree the way forward, and this has been accepted by the director.
Right, thank you. Yeah. Councillor Brokey?
Yeah, just on the skate park, all that information, it looks like it's going to be moving forward quite positively, doesn't it? That info was after the AGM, wasn't it? So there's quite a few things thrashed out there that looks like we can move forward positively. So as a group, we've got asked Councillor Cockrell to go down that route.
Yeah, after the AGM, I had a meeting with the director.
Yeah, just thanks for that.
And finally, just to show fellow councillors that the by-election budget is topped up, so if we do incur expenses for by-elections in the next 4 years, we've got money in that for them.
Good. Okay. Any more questions for Councillor Ashby? Yes, no?
No.
No, thank you. CAP meeting. Have we got a chair in from the CAP meeting?
Sam?
We have indeed, I'm here.
You're here, you're there. Sam?
We had a successful CAP meeting, and we are looking to traffic calming measures on Muston Road outside the top school, and there is a bit of concern by the local inspector that, you know, it's becoming a bit of a motorway and a bit of a mad mile, Muston Road, and we'll be looking at bringing calming measures, whether it's junction, speed humps, and we'll be taking that up with North Yorkshire, you know, to protect it, because there's a lot of concerns with regard to our youngsters at present in that area.
Thank you for that. Councillor Cross, any questions for Councillor Cross? Councillor Anthony?
Just a comment. Inspector Sharp was saying, well, they've got particular concerns as speeding outside the school, and he was quite clear about he wants the community and councils and people to think about what calming measures could be used. So if anybody's got any ideas, to get in touch with the Councillor Cross or Inspector Sharp.
You're right, thank you. Any more questions for Councillor Cross on that? No? We'll move on then. Could we note these minutes, and could I ask, I've done that one, we've noted them. Right, now then, are we going to take these in block as a proposer and a seconder? Because we've been through all the chairs and that and done it.
Yeah.
So we'll do it en block.
Yeah.
Proposed and seconded. We have a proposed and seconded. All those in favour to accept these minutes? Thank you. Right, we go on to number 11 now. Schedule of payments. Do any members wish to make a comment or ask a question about the schedule? It's all on your iPads. I hope you've been through them all, looked at them. Give you a minute to decide. You're scratching your nose?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm beginning to feel. Not in the washing room. I'm not. I just sold away.
It's peeling, Maren, it's peeling.
I was just going to say, Chair, that if there's no questions, I'll have one of these payments.
Yeah. Right.
And I'll second that.
Right, all those in favour? Thank you. We're going to number 12 now. Repair and refurbishment of fire facilities. This item has been requested by Councillor Axley. Could Councillor Axley therefore provide a summary of the current concerns?
Yeah, I did a walk around the town the other day, and bearing in mind that Easter and summer's coming up, the railings on the seafront are absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
The ones that haven't been repaired are absolutely peeling, and you can see all the crap underneath.
The ones that have been repaired have never been painted. So I can understand maybe the need for a few weeks for them to weather. But they're just zinc railings and they look absolutely awful. The second area of concern that I saw was the Crazy Goal, which is the biggest joke since God knows what. It's absolutely disgusting. Bits of gaffer tape, blue tape, holding the ropes together, ropes pinned into the ground with nails and all sorts. You know, that's our showcase. That's right in the middle of the seafront, and it looks absolutely awful. You know, and it doesn't need a lot of money spending on it to at least make it look right. Even if it's still rubbish, it would look right. And there are other areas that are concerned, you know, the litter in certain areas. It just needs, the town needs a good spring clean and sort out prior to certainly summer. I can't see it getting done for Easter now. But the railings are one particular big area of concern. There was a massive repair done, certainly towards the south, and they've never ever been painted since. But when you walk right along, they're in a disgusting condition, and I think, you know, the least we can do is ask the borough to paint them. So I propose we send a letter of those concerns.
Councillor Wright.
I totally agree. Last year, through Fire and Bloom, we requested this to be done. And we were told categorically that it was on a rolling programme, that so many bits would be done, and the next bit would be done, and the next bit would be done. And nothing's happened. Very disappointing. Because if you look at pictures sometimes that come on the TV from Whitby and everywhere, the railings are pristine. Our railings are disgraceful, I agree with you.
I mean, it's even more disgraceful that if the tour of the Yorkshire was coming, you can guarantee everything would be spruced up, painted, the roads would all be repaired, but you don't know what as county are doing. You look at where the route of the Tour of Yorkshire is this year, and county is repairing every road that bike race is going on. You go Buston Road, I defy you not to hit a pothole going to Buston Road. And that's a main road that kids have to bike up to school. So yeah, I agree, Marion. We ought to get the bike race every year and then we might get something done.
Councillor Anthony.
Just a question for Councillor Hackett. If there's areas of litter, can you tell me where they are and then I can pass it on? Yeah.
Councillor Meek.
No doubt somebody will put me right. The last time I went down on the seafront via Cargate Hill, near the top, the safety railing that stopped people from going down into the road, there was a bar missing completely, and it was just red and white tape over it. Then when I came back up, it just wasn't there. It was blowing in the wind. So any child could have gone over the top. I just wondered. I haven't been down the last few days. I didn't know it had been reported. Been seen to. It must have been reported, but to have the tape on it.
So, take it you agree with Councillor Hackett?
That's an additional one.
Right. Is any other members of the council?
Just a comment about the Crazy Golf that Councillor Hackett brought up. We've asked on many occasions for something to be done in the Crazy Golf. They did come along maybe 2 years ago and spend a couple of £100 just painting bits of it. They put some new rope down which wasn't even the same size as the rope that they left. My opinion is the best thing to do is dig it all out and relay it all and let's have a fresh start. Because you can't just keep titivating things up, because there comes a point when enough's enough.
Yeah. Councillor Hackett.
Just one more, I wasn't going to bring it up, but I will do because it is a mess. And I don't like knocking the lions, but they've been a victim of their own success. And that's the Keep Fit area next to the Crazy Goal. The grass around that is absolutely disgusting. And again, it's because it's used. It's not as if it's any fault as such. But I think they need to either look at artificial grass, or something needs doing because it's muddy in damp weather, and kids get filthy. And when you look at it now, it's just parched, dry earth. You know, it doesn't look very nice. So whether anything can be done.
Yeah.
Councillor Wilkie?
It might be, I mean, I agree that the railings are shocking, but there's all sorts of other things. It may be just worth having another walk around or a review of the whole seafront, because you've got the grass banks that are always not well kept generally. The grass is going a bit bare on. I know we had a problem a few years ago, didn't we, and it was reseeded and it's some's taken and some hasn't, and you know, the chalets at the far end, they've had a lick of paint where it's literally just slapped over the top of what's there. The things that are holding the roof on are all rusted away, so maybe that has to be a major project, you know, a capital projects application or something like that. But certainly the whole seafront, I think, just needs a review and see what can be possible and what's more long term and what's a bit more too difficult. But certainly a start is, like Councillor Haxby says, the railings, especially those at the bottom of Martin's Ravine near the shelter there, nigh on falling down. So it will be a start.
Through you, Chair, that used to be what we did every year with the railings. Yeah.
Councillor Cockrell?
I can give some information. I totally agree with everything that's been said, apart from one thing. Council actually said that the railings that were renewed last year haven't been painted, and they were, but they're terrible. The rest of the railings are just north of the bridge road, including Cobble Landing. There's a paper going into Cabinet in June to get the funding for that. Regarding the chalets, I've raised that on a number of occasions at the existing ones, apart from the new ones where the old chalets...
Yeah, I'm talking about the coloured ones.
Yeah. They want to go to Lions Bonfire.
What and
replacing.
That would be better than trying to repair them.
Yeah, they're past the sell by date. Crazy Golf, totally agree. That's been a pain for a long time. Yes, there was some work done by the then beach superintendent a couple of years ago, but it won't ripping out and starting again. Totally agree.
Right, Councillor Shackleton, and then Councillor Meek.
A shame about the railings when they renewed. They didn't go right along, but we were told at that time that the budget had run out.
What colour they were painted when you were over there? Blue. They're not, they're zinc.
Sorry, Councillor Haxby, they were painted finely blue. I don't believe...
Sorry, they were.
I don't believe the correct paint system was used, because I've already raised that. They should never have deteriorated that.
Exactly.
They may now look as though they haven't been painted, but they were painted.
I think the salt's
Councillor Meek?
Well, how do I put this? We used to call them the naughty boys that used to come, and they used to paint the railings nearly every year. And then all of a sudden, haven't we got any? Or where are they?
The offices of the Potter and Sheila with Scarborough Council, and they still look after them. But there aren't very many, which is good for the area, you know, obviously. But they seem to get an awful lot of work in Scarborough, possibly because that's easier than the transportation and all the rest of it, you know. And we requested some things last year, and we were told there wasn't enough of them to come through. Well, finally, so we'd have to just keep asking. That's the situation as I know it.
Councillor Meek?
So you, Chair, no matter where they go, if there's people in Scarborough, I always thought Scarborough was a borough of Scarborough. Scarborough borough, not Scarborough. So it should include all the out villages and everywhere, not just Scarborough.
Thank you for that, Councillor Meek. Councillor Oldham.
Thank you. I'm just questioning who you're discussing, these people that do things here. Community service, right, thank you, because I couldn't quite get to the grips of the dialogue that was said. But I do know some of the community service people do go to St Oswald's and they do look after a lot of the graves and stuff up there, because when we had the issue with things being stolen, they were up there doing an awful lot of work and keeping a lookout.
Yeah,
Sorry, I just wanted to clarify who we were discussing.
It's Scarborough Council that cut the graveyard at St Oswald's, apart from one little bit, which is the War Graves, and the War Graves Commission actually pay for that to be done. Okay? Is there anybody else wishes to speak on that?
Have you proposed, Councillor?
Not yet. Not yet, we're
I
getting
thought we
there.
write a serious letter of concern to the Borough Council that if they're not discussing funding till June, it ain't going to get done this year, is it?
No.
So we're going to have to go another year with it looking like a mess, literally.
Yes. Councillor Shackleton?
We used to have a wish list, or we called it a wish list, because that's the way it basically was. And there were certain items that we wanted to prioritise, and they were at the top. Perhaps we should reinstate that.
Yes.
If, you know, we can go around and down, see what we want doing, make this wish list, and send it to the board of your property.
I mean, we also used to have an executive, a couple of executives from Scarborough Council come along, and then we could put our wish list at them. And I don't know whether the new council would like to take that back on board or not.
What I'm saying is, Chair, that if we don't tell them what we want, they don't
Well,
know.
no, I agree.
It's all right slagging Borough Council.
Yeah, I know.
But if they don't know what we want.
That's why I've just said about putting it back on as that. Councillor Cross.
Thank you, Chair. Just a couple of things. The money that was raised to pay for the railings the equipment that's down on the front, we actually, as Lions, have to pass the money over to Scarborough, and it's effectively their equipment. So we can't really go doing anything with it as Lions or as SLC. I mean, it's effectively become an asset of the borough. With regard to the Naughty Boys, sadly, I think that we're in 2000 and now, we used to get the Naughty Boys fairly regular in Bali, and they did, a lot of work. Sadly, they don't seem to get this far anymore, which is a great regret. So, on that. And I think as far as thinking a more positive light, there will be a new chief executive starting in Scarborough soon, and that would be a time next year to, rekindle the fires of Scarborough.
Right, thank you for that. Thank you for that, Councillor Cross. Councillor Rosenberg.
I think with the arrival of a new chief executive, it's the right time to reinstate our biannual chief exec meetings, which I always found very useful.
Yeah, I did.
I used to enjoy coming to those. It was an informal dialogue between us and the council.
I absolutely agree, Councillor Woodson, but the first words they used to say was, there's no money. Those were the very first words that they used to speak.
But at least we got our point of view across on a one-to-one basis, rather than going round the houses and writing to a department. The chief exec sat there, took notes on what we wanted, and even if we never got them, at least we made our point to the chief exec. We couldn't go any higher, we couldn't go any further.
But sadly, I got fed up of attending them, Councillor Woodson, and just being told not a pack of lies, but just lip service.
Well, sometimes lip service is better than no service at all.
Thank you for that, Councillor. Councillor Mead.
Going back to Councillor Axby's motion, I would second that motion.
Right. Can we have some exact wording for that before I put it to the vote, Councillor Axby? What would you like to...
The town council feels that, the area of, particularly the seafront, is in quite a state. Particularly with reference to the railings which need painting, the crazy golf which is falling to bits, the area around the fitness equipment which is bare and muddy in times of wet weather, and generally it needs sorting out. The flat will
Right, very good.
That's a very good example
Yeah.
of what we explained
Well, you've got the gist of it. Thank you very much. Councillor Meeks, second that, Councillor Hatsby's proposed it. Can we have a vote on that, please? All those in favour, yes, everybody? Right. Now we come to number 13 on the list. The date and time of the next meeting. Please would councillors confirm the date and time of the next meeting on Thursday, the 9th of May 2019. This is because the Easter Monday comes into it, it's a bank holiday comes into it, so you have to move it down. This is straight after the election. Commencing at 7 p.m. in the council chamber. You've also got